You dancing souls. Welcome to our talk show Positivity with Praveen. Today I'm honored to bring to you our special guest on the talk show, an accomplished Bharatnatyam dancer. She is also a choreographer, a dance guru, a TEDx speaker who also happens to be an electronics and communications engineer. She is a third generation dancer who transports her audience to divinity through her enchanting dance recitals. She has done more than 800 performances across 25 odd countries and has performed in many national and international festivals. She has won numerous national and international awards like the Kalpana Chawla Young Achievers Award and Natya Ratna Award. She has received critical acclaim from various newspapers like the New York Times, the Hindu, the Times of India, and various local newspapers have covered her extensively across the globe. Without further ado, you dancing souls, please join hands in welcoming the gorgeous, the beautiful, multi-talented Dakshina Vaidyanathan Baghel. Welcome Dakshina on the show. We are dancing with delight to have you here today.
Thank you so much, Praveen sir. Thank you so much for such a kind introduction. So nice of you. And it's a pleasure and an honor to be here on this show on positivity. And I'm really looking forward to what's going to happen here.
Great. And Dakshina, before we start our conversation, I would like to share some of your clips with the viewers now. Dakshina, first of all, let me thank you for carrying forward our age-old tradition of classical dance, Bharatnatyam, in the current era. What you're doing is phenomenal. When did you decide you want to pursue your passion of Bharatnatyam as your profession?
Well, I am fortunate to have been born in a family where the lineage of Bharatanatyam started with my grandmother, Dr. Saroja Vaidyanathan. She is in fact a Padma Bhushan awardee for Bharatanatyam. And she runs a school in Delhi called Ganesha Natyalaya, which is dedicated to the promotion, propagation and teaching of this dance form. Incidentally, my mother, this is my paternal grandmother. My mother is one of India's topmost Bharatanatyam dancers right now, Srimati Rama Vaidyanathan. So growing up in a family like this, dance was basically a way of life for me. It was something that just happened on its own for me. And I think when I was 3 years old, I decided that I'm going to be a dancer. And growing up in an environment like this, where my mother and my grandmother are dancing, performing, rehearsing, choreographing every day, students are coming in and day out, classes are happening. You know, dance just became a way of life for me. It's not something that I chose. And I always say, I didn't choose dance, dance chose me. So it definitely becomes my duty to, do justice to something that destiny has given me, with so much grace.
So I'm surprised, Dakshina, when most of us at the age of 3 were learning to change our nappies. You had already decided about your passion. You wanted to pursue dance.
Thank you so much. Like I said, it was a way of life. So it was, I don't even know if it was really an informed decision. It's not like I knew about all the professions in the world and then chose at the age of 3 that I want to be a dancer. It was basically just a very instinctive decision. That's all.
You come from a strong lineage of accomplished Bharatanatyam dancers. And while you told about your grandmother, she is a Padma Bhushan awardee. Your mother also is a Sangeet Natak Akademi awardee. It's natural for people like us to have high expectations from you. Do you feel privileged or overwhelmed or pressurized because of the strong lineage?
I definitely feel very privileged. Life, destiny, luck has handed me this wonderful family, has handed me this wonderful opportunity, and I'll be ever grateful for that. So I'm definitely extremely privileged. I signed up for this profession knowing fully well that this is going to be the expectation that everybody has from me. This is who my grandmother is, this is who my mother is, very illustrious personalities. So I signed up for this challenge, and I think it helps push me a little harder. They inspire me day in and day out. Every day in the morning when they get up and rehearse and choreograph and work so hard on their dance, I have no reason not to do it. And having seen this every single day of my life, of course I am, I'm fired up from inside to want to do it myself too. So I accept the challenge, and I feel privileged that I have the opportunity of having this challenge in my life, and I hope that I do justice to this.
Dakshana, you have choreographed various dance performances and group performances as well. So tell us about your experiments with Bharatanatyam.
I've done some interesting stuff, taking themes related to science, mostly because of my engineering background. I did this one production, like you said, an experiment called Nakshatra, which kind of draws out a parallel between astronomy and astrology, and kind of tries to weigh whether this is science or fate. Are we just puppets in the name of astrology? Is it really true that there are, a couple of stars clustered together because of gravitational force, millions of light years away from the Earth, which are actually deciding how we behave, what our personality traits are? Or is it that we have the right to make our own decisions? Because if it's not, then what is the purpose of life if we aren't really making our own decisions? So this production was to explore this idea. I explored both sides of it, that it is faith, or that it is science, or that we make our own decisions, or we just succumb to fate, different aspects of it. So I kind of did that. I did another production called From Zero to Infinity. This was to explore man's journey in the technology sector through the cultural ethos. How technology was always influenced by culture. For example, the temples of India. Now there are hundreds and thousands of temples of India, and such beautiful architecture, and what a marvel of civil and mechanical engineering for that time. What a marvel, really. But how civil and mechanical engineering developed and how it was influenced by culture. How the structure of the temple itself mirrors so many aspects of Indian philosophy. So like this many aspects of technology and how it is influenced by culture, I took and explored that. Then I did one production called Newton's Law of Karma. Newton's third law of motion is every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And on the metaphysical plane, in Indian philosophy, we call that karma. What you do comes back to you in some way. So using the visual imagery of Newton's law, how I try to explain karma, or this law that we believe in Indian philosophy. So yeah, these are some of the experiments that I've done using my engineering background.
So looks like you have amalgamated your engineering background with Bharatanatyam dance pretty well. So this is awesome. What role does Bharatanatyam play in our society?
That's an excellent question. Um, so India is a developing nation. It's still a developing nation, and we are such a diverse country in every way. In culture, in the kind of people who are, and just in the population itself. That for us to move forward together as a nation already is very difficult. The one thing that binds us together in all our diversity is Indian culture, our cultural heritage. Millions of tourists every year come to India. Notwithstanding all the different conditions that they have to bear here. They are not used to maybe the hot weather or mosquitoes. I'm just talking about very small things, or dirty rivers, or the polluted air, or just extremely large crowds of people. They aren't used to this. Why then are they leaving the comfort of their homes to come to a country like India? And not just one or two people, millions every year. Tourism industry is huge in India. The reason is only one. It is the Indian cultural heritage, which makes our country so exotic. It is something that's absolutely unique in the entire world. This is India's USP. This is something that we actually talk about, which is what is Indianness, भारतीयता जिसको कहते हैं, अस्तित्व, भारत की जो अस्तित्व है, that is the Indian cultural heritage. And I think to be a good citizen of this country, you do need to know about your Indian cultural heritage. You need to be connected to it in some way or the other. Only then you can do justice to this country in any profession that you may be having. Bharatanatyam is just one part of this vast Indian cultural heritage, and I'm so proud to be representative of that. Whether it's the Taj Mahal or miniature paintings of Rajasthan, or Madhubani paintings of Bihar, or the beautiful temples of South India, all of this constitute our Indian cultural heritage. And this is the USP of India. And I think this is what is really important for all our Indian citizens to know about, to understand. You don't need to be a dancer, you don't need to be a painter, but you need to be able to appreciate it, and you need to be able to understand it. Only then you're connected to this country. In a scenario like today's, where there's so much globalization, it's very easy to lose connection with what your country stands for. And that's why I think it's extremely important. And of course, art itself, I would feel, any art form makes you a more sensitive person. Not just learning it, but also being able to appreciate it makes you a more sensitive person in so many different ways. Of course, learning it makes you a very sensitive person, because you have to constantly keep playing so many different roles. You have to constantly stop being you and start identifying yourself with a larger energy, with a larger force. So I think it's definitely a path towards spirituality, and it's something that does make you a better human being, mentally, emotionally. So yeah, that's why I think it is important.
Dakshana, you have an infectious smile and energy. What do you think is the importance of positivity and wittiness in one's life?
So definitely, like I said, as a dancer, there's so much of uncertainty attached to this profession, to this lifestyle, that you have to be self-motivated. Being self-driven is the only way to keep yourself afloat. So, because like I said, you don't have a fixed salary that's coming in. You don't have a fixed schedule of performances. You don't even know when you're going to be called for your next performance, or if you were good enough in your last one, enough for people to call you for the next one. You don't know if something that you have created, a piece of work that you have created, whether it's going to be appreciated by the public or you're going to be thrown, rotten tomatoes at. You have no idea what path to take, because there is no path that's already made that you can just tread behind. There's no hierarchy, there's no bonus, there's no year-end benefit, there are no vacations that you can just take out every year. Okay, Christmas to New Year, every year I'm going to be free. It doesn't work like that, because if you get a performance and it's, you'll do it, because that's how our life is. So in such a situation, your mind plays a very, very important role. If you're not self-drivenly positive all the time, self-motivated, and keeping your mind positive all the time, it's very easy to spiral downwards. It's very easy to get dejected, to get disheartened. And that is detrimental to the dance also. Of course, it's detrimental to your own mental health, but it's also detrimental to your dance, because you'll stop performing well if you start becoming a negative person. And as far as wittiness is concerned, just being positive isn't enough. You also have to be happy. You also have to find the fun and the humor in life. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So you have to have that little bit of wit, that little bit of humor in life. And as a dancer, I think if you don't have these two things, it's very easy to lose your sense of direction, to lose the sense of who you are in this field, to lose inspiration. So I think that's very, very important for dancers. And in general, in any case in life, positivity and wittiness are both very, very important aspects.
Thank you, Dakshana. We are glad you like that. What is one thing in the current challenging situations when you're not able to do live performances, one thing that you're doing to keep that spark of positivity alive?
Actually, I'm doing a lot of things, but I think the one thing which I'm liking the best out of all of them is working on new works of creation. I'm unleashing my creativity right now with no deadline, with nowhere to go, nowhere to present anything that I'm working on. It is not with any sort of goal to present in a particular place that I'm doing this. I am creating new pieces of art just for myself, just for the betterment of my dance form, and just because I have ideas which I want to translate into dance. And that is actually a very liberating feeling, because I can do whatever I want and I can take as much time as I want, because I don't have a deadline. I think it's really helping me unleash myself.
Keep upskilling yourself is the
Absolutely. Yeah, you need to keep upskilling yourself as a dancer. Absolutely. It's very easy to fall into a rut of becoming monotonous or just being the same that you are. You have to keep improving, you have to keep upskilling, you have to keep becoming better than what you are. My father always used to say, when I was a child, my father always used to say, is the Dakshina of today better than the Dakshina of yesterday? And that is something which is stuck in my mind. Every day has to make a difference in my life. Every day that I'm alive has to make a difference, has to be an improvement on who I am.
And I'm a firm believer of that, Dakshana. You have to keep upgrading your versions more than you keep upgrading the versions of your phone software.
Absolutely.
Dakshana, we have often heard, oh, I am too old to learn something new. What is your message for such people, Dakshana, and how you can help them?
I say, if you have a desire to learn something, jump right into it. Especially something like dance, you can pick up at any age of your life. So why we start young is because Bharatanatyam as a dance form is a little tough on the body. So as a child, if you start learning when your bones and muscles are soft and malleable, you start developing the right muscle groups for the dance form, and it becomes effortless very soon. By the time you become a teenager or by the time you reach the age of 20, it becomes effortless. Then it stops hurting the body. And then after that, your focus is somewhere else. Then your focus is not on the physical at all. After that, your focus of the dance is on the expressions, is on the spiritual connect. It's on taking the audience to a different place. Once you've just learned, it's like learning the grammar of English. We learn it young. Any language, for example, Hindi or English, we learn ABCD, Kakha, Gaga. We learn the grammar and all very young, so that it becomes effortless to think and speak in this language. And now we use this language to do better things, to say better things, to take conversations to a different level. So that's what it is. But that does not mean that you can't learn a language even when you're 30 or 50. In fact, I take a class which is an adults class, where my oldest student is actually like in her 60s, and she started learning about 5 years ago. So it's never too late to start something that you're passionate about. And there is no age bar. It's not like you can't take the UPSC exam after you're this certain age, or you can't take, or you have only certain attempts, these number of attempts to do it. Absolutely not. Like I said, the uncertainty and the lack of hierarchy and the lack of a path gives this freedom to us to be able to do absolutely anything. So I would like to say, if you're passionate about dance, if you really like dance, if you really want to take it up, please take it up. Even if you are a grandmother, it doesn't matter.
We all know behind every successful man, there is a woman. Who is behind a successful woman, Dakshina?
Definitely a successful man, a supportive man, and a loving man is behind every successful woman, I would feel. And it's not just the man, it's also the whole family that comes. My own family, my husband's family, everybody has been absolutely supportive right from day one. And I can't thank them enough.
We would like to hear the man who supported you. He supported
Wonderful.
you for your passion.
Wonderful.
Your husband with us.
Hi Praveen, how are you?
Good, pleasure meeting you, Aditya. And I would like to especially thank you for taking those steps with Dakshina. I'm sure behind every successful woman, or I would say behind every successful woman who is married, is a very supportive husband. And thanks, Aditya, for being that.
You're welcome, sir. However, I think what I would say is that the best way to support somebody who is chasing a career which is different from the ordinary is to just keep a hands-off approach. You give them absolute freedom, and I think that is the best support that you can give anybody. That's all it takes.
There are millions of women who fail to pursue their passion after marriage. Sometimes it's their own choice. Sometimes they resign to their fate. Sometimes they say, my husband doesn't allow it, or my in-laws don't like it. Dakshina and Aditya, what's your message for such women and men?
I think the key is for both people to have good communication, where you're talking to each other, to understand what your roadblocks are, how you foresee them, align on your life goals, and then work together to overcome each of those obstacles one by one. Right? So it could be anything from as small as planning a vacation, or planning when we're going to meet next. Because given both our careers, there are times when we are in different parts of the world for extended periods of time. Right? So it is all about having that communication and talking and letting each other do exactly what they want to do in their lives. Right? So sometimes my parents might have apprehensions about what she was doing. So I think it is, in that case, my job to convince them that, no, look, this is how it is. It is good. Why don't you give it a chance? And in fact, there are some people I have seen that from an absolute polar view, polar opposite to that, I don't think that this is a career somebody should be doing, to somebody who now shares her profile links and videos with their friends and proudly tells them, look, my daughter-in-law is doing this. So I think over time, just working at it continuously together, it makes a difference. And that is the only way it can work.
I think the most important partnership, the most important relationship in the world is that of a husband and wife, because this is the most permanent relationship. This lasts forever. At some point your children also leave for work, for education, for marriage, for whatever. They move to a different country, but you and your spouse will be together forever. So both of you have to be successful in life. Both of you have to keep supporting each other. That's very important. You need to feed off each other's success and push the other forward, because if just one person is successful and the other is not, it's not going to be a happy couple. That's not how it works. So only if both of you push each other forward, both of you have to have that healthy
right? So I think it's a two-way street. It's not one person. And I'm telling you, 90% of what I have done for Dakshina's dance career is nothing. Right? I have not done anything. I think my only contribution in the COVID days is cameraman and spot boy sometimes. I think that's all that is the extent of it. So
Thanks, Aditya, for being humble. I wish all the husbands are as humble as you. Okay, it was such a pleasure having you, Dakshina, and thanks, Aditya, for joining us. Thanks. I hope the viewers enjoy this episode. Thank you. Bye.
thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
You dancing souls, if you enjoyed this conversation and would like to hear more such amazing conversations, please subscribe to our channel Positivity and hit the like button. Namaskar.